Okay, so Suhail
Yes.
Toledo, welcome to the show. I am the new Barbara Walters of small businesses, if you haven't figured that out yet. So this is episode 2, and what we're doing every week is what I'm doing is I'm trying to interview one of my tenants, which Vicky Bakery is, and then someone that's not a tenant, but is a retailer or a business in the community where we can provide exposure to my community and then also your community and just get the word out of, positive questions. We're not going to talk about rents and all the bad stuff, right? We're just going to have some fun. And for the next 20 or 25 minutes, I'm going to ask you some questions. And if you could share with the audience, we would love it. So you want to get started, right? And we're getting lots of comments that people love Vicky. So, when I travel the properties, I'm always taking pictures of who's open and what's going on. And what's so fun, I have a post, like I sometimes make notes, like things I should post about. And I took a picture of the Vicky and Davy where there was a line out the door, like this is 3 days ago. And it was about 8 in the morning. And I'm like, okay, addiction, coffee addiction. Right.
Definitely. Cafecito is #1 for us.
So I was like, okay, this is a great post because I know why those people are standing in line, so, and the same thing, all over. So, okay, so let's get started. So first of all, we addressed your family safe. That's always my first question. You said yes. So tell the audience about who you are, what your business is, and you can talk about our location, but your other locations as well.
Yes. Well, my name is Suhail Toledo, and I'm a business owner. I have several businesses, but the one that I know Beth is very excited about is our Vicky Bakery. And we have 4 locations, which is quite nice. Our first location was in Miramar. And then from the Miramar location, we expanded to the universities. We have my alma mater, FIU, go Panthers, and the University of Miami. And then from there, in 2017, we opened up our Davie location, and that has been amazing. We're just excited with how Vicky Bakery has evolved. When we started, we always thought about possibly opening more stores, but it like with every small business, it's like you dabble, you see, you feel, you get a feel for the community, for how Vicky Bakery responded, and it was amazing. So we're like, we're doing this.
So you are a franchisee of Vicky Bakery Corporate. Is that how that is?
Correct. Vicky Bakery is a family-owned business, and they decided to branch out and do the franchises. And of course, I'm Cuban American, born in this country, child of Cuban parents, and Vicky Bakery is a Cuban bakery. And growing up, for me, it was a staple. There was no birthday party I would attend that didn't have the pastelitos and the cake with all the merengue and all that good stuff. So I believe in the brand. I was raised with the brand. So it was a no-brainer that this was going to be something I wanted to be a part of.
That's awesome. And you mentioned you have, so my location is across from Nova Southeastern. You have an FIU and you have a University of Miami. And Miramar is not by a university, and I believe you're negotiating on another location, which I don't think, or maybe there is. We won't say where that is because the deal's not done yet. But so do you like to be by or within universities? Is that a kind of the plan for expansion, or?
We are never opposed to any idea. When we first thought about opening up Vicky in Miramar, it wasn't something we thought about within the university, but the opportunity presented itself, and we're like, hello, that would be amazing. Being an alumni for Florida International University, I was like, I would have loved to have had Vicky Bakery every morning before class, or even at break time when I was studying for a final or anything. Right. Having that for the students what would have been great for me. So I'm like, yes, of course. And to just to have a little bit of a nugget in the university, my alma mater, that was like a kind of like an emotional, like my heart was full when that happened. And then, you know, UM is another amazing, and it's the University of Miami, it's home. So I'm like, of course, that would be great. And then Davie happened. It so happened to be that Nova's right there, and we love our students from Nova, and they're always coming over, and it's just, it has happened so perfectly. Like, if I would have told you that this is what we wanted, it probably would have never happened. It just evolved. So
yeah. And you know, I want to tell the audience, and also do a little plug, and this is off of the questions that I previously had sent you, but I just realized, so, you know, I started an event 2 years ago called the South Florida Independent Retailers Awards. And this year, hopefully, we'll still hold it, and if not virtually, and it'll be the 3rd annual. And the first year, you guys won in the category of bakery. And so the second year, we did something new. We had, and I know you're nodding, but I'm sharing this for the audience. So we did something called the Shark Tank, where we had 3 landlords be the sharks, and your husband Nelson sat as the not the victim, but the you know, the business, right? And but what was great was the 3 sharks. It was different than Shark Tank. It was kind of opposite. So the 3 sharks, the 3 landlords, were pitching your husband on their deals, and he ended up choosing one, and that's the deal that is currently being negotiated now, right? And what we did was we invited the winners of year 1, the independent retailer winners of year 1, who of any of you would like to have the opportunity of the Shark Tank experience. And your husband said, I want it, right? So he's on stage, but it was so cute because he called me a couple days, he goes, okay, I don't know if I can do this. And actually one of your partners was supposed to do it, and then he had a death in the family, and so your husband said, well, and then so your partner said, well, Nelson will do it. And I'm like, okay. And I'm calling Nelson, he's like, I hope I can do this. But he was awesome.
It was awesome. We had such a good time at that event, and it was great to see him up there kind of like in a vulnerable state, because it's like they're asking us these questions that, you know, are usually over the phone or in a conference room kind of setting, and here he is on stage with everybody. But it was funny, like I remember it was like a disclaimer. A business might, like an actual transaction might come from this, or it might not. And everybody was like, this isn't for fun, this is actually for real. Right. And funny story is that, fingers crossed, it might actually happen.
Right.
So
during that, I remember I had the microphone and I'm walking around, and I was like so engrossed in what was going on, and I knew that it was real. But like all of a sudden people were like, Beth, this is like a joke, right, Beth? And then finally I grabbed the mic and I said, hello, this is serious. They're really being serious. And then I know what happened is, because I'm in the know, that it started and then it stopped, and then it started and then it stopped. But now so I, of course, being the event coordinator, really want it to happen, because I want to be able to post and announce that a deal happened from the Shark Tank, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%.
So, okay. So yeah, I completely forgot all about that when we were planning this today. So I'm so glad that we got off on that tangent. Okay. So tell us how did the opportunity, like, you know, you guys, you also are contractors. You've done a great job for us, right? You have a contracting business. So what were you doing before the whole Vicky opportunity came your way? Like, were you actively searching to be part of a franchise, or did it kind of drop in your lap, and how did that happen?
Okay, well, we're home health business owners. We have a home health agency. And pretty much it was like any entrepreneur, your first business, you love on it so hard. And then you're like, all right, we can't have all our eggs in one basket. we need to definitely diversify. And we were looking and looking and searching, and we came across Vicky Bakery. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I love Vicky Bakery.
Right.
Yeah, I love
grabbed you.
Yeah, I love Vicky Bakery. It's home for me, and I know for so many of my friends and family. Like I'm sure if you go to, I don't know, another state and you mention Vicky Bakery, they're not gonna know. But if you're from South Florida and you don't know who Vicky Bakery is, then I don't know where you've been, because they've been around for years. So I told my husband, I'm like, look, this is not just any bakery. This is a bakery that is well established, well known in the community. People respect it. People purchase, and there's, you know, a want and a need for their product in the community. So
especially in Broward, because
exactly.
the only one that I knew of when you guys called me was the one in Cooper City, and it's kind of a weird location. But so was no Spelly, your husband, was he not from here, based in here? He didn't know about Vicky, or when you guys first were talking, or he did know?
He did know, but not like me.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go on a tangent about my husband and how he came to this country when he was 15. He is un balsero, and if there's any of my Cuban or Hispanic people out there, if you know what that is basically you leave your country in a raft, and you are in the ocean for 90 miles to get to this country for a better life for himself and his family. So when he got here, he was 15. So he wasn't born and raised in the sense where he knew what Vicky Bakery was. In the years of growing up here, he did know of the bakery, because at parties and stuff like that, but he didn't really grasp the concept of what a big deal they are here.
It wasn't injected into his culture like it was for you growing up.
Correct.
So let's talk about you, because obviously I didn't even know about the home health. I did know about the GC business, and I knew about Vicky. So when you were growing up, Suhail, were you an entrepreneur, like lemonade stands, Girl Scout cookies? Like, what, growing up, did you have entrepreneurial, drive?
Well, I'm gonna have to go no. Okay. And not because of me. I think it was more because of my parents. My parents as well came to this country very young, Cuban. They were thrown into school not knowing the language, having to learn English. So they struggled a lot with school. I know my mom, and I want to say she's probably online listening to this. She tells me all the time, she's like, it was hard. It was very hard for me culturally adapting to friends. If it's hard for us making friends, and we speak, imagine being an immigrant coming here, and it was hard for her. So they both always instilled, go to school, get a degree, get an education. I want you to have a secure job, if that's even like a thing.
What was your major? Like, what did you get a degree in, and what did you think you were going to do?
I have my master's degree in social work. Wow. So this arena,
it fits perfectly, retail.
Yes. So this arena is perfect for me. And with the home health, of course, it was also amazing, because, I'm helping the elderly and all of the people that are home that can't get out to, receive services. So
let me just say this. My ex-husband's Cuban. His family came over in '61. My son's grandmother speaks about 10% of English, so I made sure that he, growing up, learned Spanish so he could just talk to her. Any person, any immigrant who comes to this country is the definition of an entrepreneur, regardless of what the business they're in, right? That risk taking is, we have this conversation in our home all of the time. Can you imagine when abuela and abuelo left Cuba when they were 30 some years old and left their business. They were in dry cleaning, left their dry cleaning business, jewelry sewn in their jackets. I mean, that is the definition of entrepreneur, right? For the blessings and the benefit of their future family, of my grandson, because my grandson would not be here. My son would not be here today if they didn't leave Cuba. So, well, we don't need to go. We can get off of that soapbox, right? But God bless your mom and your family for doing that. And Nos Belly, obviously. So, who's your customer?
Our customer is you. No, seriously, our customer is family and our workers, you know, our breakfast, lunch workers, our people coming in, grabbing their, you know, lunches and their, you know, cafecito in the morning and their pastelitos and family. I believe that this is a business that was built on tradition, and tradition is part of our brand, and family is part of our brands as well. So I just think that our neighborhoods we're a place where you come and you just feel like you're not in this stuffy kind of environment where you have to be all proper. You can just be yourself. You feel like you're at home. You know, that's the feeling I get when I go to our bakeries. You know,
Did you design the stores? I haven't been in FIU in Miami, but I've been obviously in Miramar and of course ours. And I love the design, which is, you know, the one in Davie, we've got that big blue chair. It's like the Queen's chair. I always sit in the Queen's chair, you know, because I'm the canvassing queen, which we're going to talk about. But I love the design. Did you participate in that? Did you create that?
I did it just by myself. No, I think it was a collaboration between all, you know, everyone involved, because I'm a business owner of Vicky Bakery along with Alicio Pina and his wife and his family. Again, we are very family oriented. This business is very family oriented. So every decision as far as design is concerned is very family involved, and we have so much fun doing it, and we get our creative juices going when stores are going to open up. It's so exciting.
That's it. So I am, you know, a gringa from Wisconsin who married a Cuban boy, and he taught me my favorite thing. So I get the cortaditos, because a cafe con leche I would love, but you know, I would be fat, very fat, if I drank those every day. So I drink the cortadito, and then I love, which again I can't have very often, but I probably get in there about a couple times a month, and I get the buttered toast.
Yes,
that's my favorite. Yeah.
Yes, it's so good. I can't tell you. I mean, my favorite is the cheese pastry. That's my favorite, pastelito. So pan con mantequilla is very, very popular, which is your favorite, tostada. So and I love the cafecito. I mean, I can't. I'm very biased.
And I also love the fresh squeezed orange juice. So I'll go in. So if I'm showing space at Rolling Hills, I get there a little early. I always set my meetings in the morning so I can go to Vicky and have my fresh squeezed orange juice, my tostada, and my cortadito, and then I'm good. But then I have to run an extra 2 miles that night.
Yeah, that's it. I can't eat anymore. It's like I've had all the calories. Yes.
Right. So do you guys sell online?
Yes, we do. We have Uber Eats and we have DoorDash, and we also have our own app.
I know. Tell us about that. I was so excited about that.
I know. It's called, if I'm not mistaken, it's Vicky Cafe is our app, and you can download it in any smartphone, and you can place your order there.
What I love about the apps is, you know, once you put your order in, you know, everyone pretty much most of the time orders the same stuff, right? So,
of course.
You know, do you want your same order as last time? Yes. This credit card? Yes. And then, you know, you go in and pick it up. It's great. I love it.
It's perfect.
When did you guys do the app?
It was when we opened up the Miramar location. We saw that it was a need for it. So we created the Vicky app, and it's under Vicky Cafe. That's how we have it under.
Awesome. What is your best selling item? Do you know?
I will say, hands down, our pastelitos.
Okay.
Our pastelitos and our croquetas. All of our, everything's fresh in our store, but our main, like the things that move constantly in our store is all of our pastries and all of our empanadas, our croquetas, our tostada.
Yeah.
Probably coffee. I mean, everything. It's just so much. People come in and they don't just walk away with one thing. They leave with like boxes and boxes of stuff to take home.
I have had the pleasure, of course, of being in your kitchen in Davie, which is, the commissary for all the stores, right? Like that's where you do a bunch of the work in the back, right? So
that is our.
That's a busy place back there. I go in. And, and before this, they all have the hairnets and the gloves, and I'm walking in, usually like with an insurance guy, and they're like looking at me, where's your plastic hat thing? So I probably won't get an opportunity to go back there very much often now with our new rules, our new hygiene rules.
I know. God knows what's going to happen after all of this.
So tell us about, during COVID, I know you're open in Davie for pickup and delivery. Are you open at FIU in Miami, UM, or no?
No, unfortunately, once the schools close, that means we're closed. So UM and FIU were obviously the first ones. FIU and then UM piggybacked.
And then Miramar, you're open in Miramar?
Yeah, open, running, just like Davie, pickup and delivery.
And do you have shortened hours?
At the present time, I believe no.
Okay, great. Okay, so here's a question for my audience, besides the hungry people of my audience, but so I own 6 shopping centers, and I teach around the country leasing agents. I help them have ideas of how to find tenants like you to go in their vacancies, and I do that all around the country. And I have this nickname called the Canvassing Queen. So my question, and I'm asking all of my guests this, Suhail, do you know what the word canvassing means?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. So this is what it means. It means that leasing agents like me, like at Rolling Hills, my responsibility and job is to fill vacancies. So before Vicky went into Davie, I had that end cap space. It was empty, and my job was to call and reach out to tenants like Vicky to see if they were interested in coming in and leasing the vacancy. And what I am a big proponent of is for people like me, leasing agents, to go shopping center to shopping center to shopping center, tenant by tenant by tenant, go into the premises and to a Vicky and say, like in Miramar, and say, hey, I have a flyer. I have a space that used to be a restaurant. I'm not sure if you guys are interested in Davie, but here's the space. It has a hood, a grease trap. I just talk to the person right there at the counter. I don't ask for the owner. I just treat them like they're the owner. And I say, would you be interested? And then if it's the owner, they'll say, oh, well, let me look. Or if it's a gatekeeper, like, one of your service providers, they'll say, well, that's not me. Can I have the flyer? I'll leave it for the owner or my boss. So my question to you as Vicky Bakery, owner of 4 locations and expanding, would you have a problem if a leasing agent came into a Vicky Bakery, as long as it wasn't in the heat of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, obviously, and brought a flyer and tried to sell or promote their shopping center for future expansion for you guys?
Absolutely not. And anyone that would say yes is mind-blowing to me. I mean, expansion is ideal in any small business, and growth is needed, especially, for example, what we're going through right now. So I would never, and I know my business partner would never be opposed to any soliciting in that way, because that is something that at the end of the day will benefit all of us.
Right. That my leasing agents, they say, well, they don't want us to interrupt them. And I say, I understand. Don't go into a restaurant at 12:15. Of course, right. Be sensitive. Or even now, I'm prospecting now, but I'm sensitive to the businesses that probably are having a harder time. Like I'm not prospecting restaurants because you guys are, just happy to be open and doing a little business. And there's certain businesses that we're not prospecting now. And in the normal time, there's certain times, but my leasing agents are like, no, they hate it when you interrupt them or blah, blah, blah. And one of my purposes, besides promoting small businesses, which I'm a huge fanatic, supporter of, is while I have this time and this opportunity to speak with many small businesses, to get that resistance of my peeps, my leasing peeps, to hear it from your own mouth. And last week's guest said the same thing. Of course, I might be busy, I might not be able to talk to you, but leave the flyer. And of course, if we're expanding, if I'm not expanding, I'll say no, thank you. But if I'm expanding, what a better way to get your flyer in front of someone than to leave it at a store or try to get information to get the flyer to you, right? Because you're also not in the store every day. So
no. Absolutely. I think it'd be a disservice to us as a business to not even consider the possibility of at least going to the shopping center or whatnot and checking the place out, looking at the traffic that it pulls in, and consider it being a possibility for expansion.
Awesome. Love that. Okay, so now you learned a new word, right?
Yes, you see, you learn something new every day, even in quarantine.
Absolutely. So speaking of quarantine, what's the biggest lesson you guys have learned during this crisis?
Well, like I mentioned, we have several businesses, so thank God for that. We are so blessed in that, because while one business might be down here, the other one might be up here, so we have kind of like a good, balance. But I believe that, and it's hard. Everybody's going through a rough time right now, and people don't plan. A lot of people live for the right now, and while that is great and fantastic, because sometimes people live so much for the future that they don't live for the right now, and that's not good either. Like, both extremes are not good, but I do believe that you, as a human being, as a worker, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, whatever your title may be, you have to save for tomorrow. You have to save for tomorrow. Little by little, something will go a long way, because you don't know. Did anyone predict that this was going to happen? No. It was funny because last year I had major back surgery, and we were going to postpone it to this year. We were going to go to Italy last year, and it was a dream for me. So my husband and I were contemplating, do we have the surgery? Do we not have the surgery? Are we going to be able to go on this family dream vacation that we've always done, sacrificed so much to have? And we're like, we're going to do it. And we're going to have surgery. I'm going to recover. We're going to go. And look what happened. Like, sometimes you can't also leave. You have to live for the right now, because you don't know what tomorrow may be. But you need to also plan for tomorrow, because you don't know the same right. Scenario. You don't know what's going to happen.
I've heard that from so many people in so many different situations. I think that we are a country that doesn't plan, and none of us have enough reserves.
Correct.
For sure. Right.
That's why everybody was going crazy buying toilet paper.
Crazy, right? Crazy. And I said, there's showers and washcloths. What's the problem?
You forget.
So, okay. So we're almost done. Have you guys planned? So I don't have a crystal ball. We don't know when we're going to be able to reopen fully.
Right.
But have you guys started thinking about and strategizing about grand opening plans, or have you not yet because you're busy still being open and running the stores? Because I believe that all of the small businesses, it's really like grand openings. I mean, we're really grand opening the entire country, so right. I've talked to some, I've got one client that we're talking about a 10 to 1, 10, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 days, like 10 days. Once they give us the date, what he's going to do is do something like, if you post my business 10 times today, when we open, you come in and you'll get a 10% off coupon or something. I've got someone else, a story where I heard that it was a fine dining restaurant and they're selling like boxes of meals, like, pork chops, rice and beans and a dessert flan or whatever, like lechon asado, my favorite. And then when you go in and you buy the meal of 4, he gives you a gift card for later for when you reopen. So has Vicky thought about are you doing anything like that for the grand openings?
Well, just to go a little at the beginning of the pandemic, right when it all kind of sort of happened, going back to the toilet paper problem that we were encountering, both Miramar and Davy, we were just to give back to the community and to let our community, because again, like I said, our business is based off of the common folk. That, everyone coming in and out, all the families, all the business. The businesses that are around us, our workers, we gave back. We gave toilet paper. If you came in, and whether you came in and bought something or not, we were giving you toilet paper because it was a big deal. And there was literally 0 toilet paper. Like, you couldn't buy anything. So we saw it as a problem, and we had the opportunity to give back to the community. So we started this whole craziness that way, giving back to the community in that way. But we haven't thought about what we're gonna do post all of this being all said and done. Because in a way, I feel, and this is a very personal thing, is that we're not gonna have that, let's just say June 15, we're able to run around like crazy people. Because I will say, when they do give us a date, if we get one, people are going to go nuts, because people are already going nuts. Like, they're so cooped up and they can't deal with it anymore. So we'll probably start phasing something out little by little as they start to open the gates a little bit more and letting us humans have more human-to-human interaction, and not just it be with our immediate family in our homestead. So I'm sure we haven't had that discussion as of yet, because
we don't know. We don't know, right? We don't know. And
we don't know.
I don't know if you saw the announcement this week. I was getting ready to go on a prediction webinar where this academic, a real estate developer, but he also teaches at Georgia State University, Mike Cohn. And we were going on an hour webinar where we were going to talk about predictions. When do we go back to theaters? When do we go into stadiums? And literally 2 minutes before we go on live, the Los Angeles mayor announces no concerts, no sports until 2021. I was like, oh my gosh, 2021, no sports. I'm like, how does that work? So the Los Angeles Rams which is one of my son's favorite teams, they don't play. Do they not just play in LA? Do they play in Miami if Miami has sports? I mean, that's the challenge for businesses so what if Miramar opens and Davie doesn't? Or what if Davie opens and Miramar doesn't? I mean, or is it county based? We don't, the uncertainty is what's driving everyone crazy.
We don't know. And, when this all started, it was a 2-week. Then it became a 4-week, April 30th. Now the president spoke a few days ago saying that we're going to go in phases. So what phase are we in? Like, it's a lot of information. It's very confusing for all of us. Really, yeah. And it's an uncertainty, and people don't like to not be in the know of things, especially as simple as going to see a family member or a friend or anything, just grabbing McDonald's or I don't know, anything, or going to Vicky Bakery.
Or Vicky Bakery, exactly. So I have one more question, and then you can close with whatever you would like. So this is a question I want to ask everyone. Besides Vicky Bakery, the first business you are going to run to the minute that the quarantine is lifted. I will tell you what mine is going to be: my nail salon
Yes.
and my hair salon.
Right. I would say it would have to be the same, just because I'm an avid every 15-day doing my nails, and I have red hair. Like, I obviously not natural at all. I dye my hair red, and it's this like apple, like literally this color red. And right now it's a little like orangey looking. And probably to do my hair, those nails and hair for a woman, I mean, if you're all about that kind of stuff, then that will be the place.
And my third one is a massage.
Oh, yeah.
It's all on the same day. I'm doing it all the same day.
It's because everybody thinks, you know, why would you need a massage? You've been at home and all this. It's like, are you kidding me? I'm under so much stress, and like my neck, the tension that I have right here.
Well, and I've been walking every day. Before this, if I walked a mile, that was a lot. I've been doing, yesterday I did 3, then 3.5, then 3.7, yesterday 4 miles. My back today, before I got on this call, Mario came into my bedroom and I'm on the foam roller on my back, and he's like, oh, Mom, you need a massage. I'm like, I do need a massage.
Stretch. But just to, because you said what would be the first thing that a business, but what would be the first thing I would do, and I might get a little emotional, is go see my mom. Go see my mom, my dad, my grandparents. And that is something that we unfortunately take for granted. You know, we just think, oh, you know, they're just a few minutes away. I just grab my car and go. And we can't do that because, like they say, you don't know if you have it. And then my grandmother's 77. My grandfather's 84. Thank God. They're good, healthy, and strong. But to know that I could have it, and for me to be that selfish to just go and want to see them, and God forbid I were to give it to them or
right.
live with them.
Right.
And that's the thing that people don't understand about the social distancing. I get it. This is hard. It's not easy. If it was easy, you know, we'd be doing it all the time. This is hard, but we need to think about the vulnerable community out there. And the people we love most is under that bracket of vulnerable people.
Right.
And we need to be smart about this, because this isn't.
My son this week, my 19-year-old, so his grandmother is 90. She's going to be 93 on Wednesday. And so she lives in Miami Beach, and she lives in an apartment complex, first floor. And she has been, 100%, and she lives by herself in an apartment. She's actually the manager of the apartment complex. But she's been 100% quarantined and has only seen her son, who's brought like groceries, but we set her up on the meal delivery for the seniors, etc. But my 19-year-old drove down there this week, and what he did is he brought a lawn chair, and she opened her apartment door, and she sat in her doorway, and he was like 10 feet away, and he just sat there for 2 hours talking to her, and it made her month. Because she doesn't have an iPhone, because she has one of those grasshopper phones. So she can't even do like FaceTime. And I told my ex, I said, you need to get her an iPhone. He goes, I've tried. She can't figure it out. So I said, that's it. I said, Alex, go down there. Just don't go anywhere near her, but take a little folding chair, and she stays in her apartment door, and you guys stay 10 feet away. And, it made her day. It made her day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, my mother-in-law, she's I would say the one out of all of us that's dealing with it the hardest, because she's alone. So it's just her in her apartment. So she's like, I'm going to pass by your house and I'll stay outside and I'll be like, hi. And my husband is like, Mom, what's the difference in FaceTiming? She goes, no, I need to physically see you.
That's
so
awesome.
that's what we're doing.
Okay, so the last question, or there's no more questions. You've been awesome.
Thank you.
We've had so many comments. I don't know if you've been able to read them.
I know.
Someone said, we love you, Iha. It must be your sister. Do you have a sister?
That's my mom. Iha is.
Oh, Iha. Iha. Yes, exactly. So see, I get confused with my Spanish vocabulary. So anything else you'd like to leave for the audience before we close out? I'm so grateful, Suhail, for you taking the time to doing this. I just, small businesses have been hit so hard. They're saying 110,000 restaurants are not going to reopen. And we can't, if I have anything to do with that, we're not going to let that happen, at least not in South Florida. We need to all promote each other. And as soon as we can, we need to go back to, supporting our businesses. Even now, like your business is open, so everyone go get a cortadito and a pastelito. And we have a program. A friend of mine, Hugh Chen, started this like the first 2 or 3 days that this looked like it was coming down. I don't know if you can see this. I think you saw one of your partners. We were on NBC6. So
yes.
Congress help small business now. So what I'm encouraging everyone, all of your supporters on this call that I may not know, if they could, and what I've said is I don't know if is this backwards on your screen? Is it backwards?
Yeah, it's okay, but I'm good with reading backwards.
So that's one of your talents, right?
Yeah.
So what it is I tell everyone it's a great homeschooling project. It's a great art project for the kids to do the sign. And then if you take a picture of it and just post it on a social media platform or send it to me, we are up to about 750 signs. We want to get to 1 million. We know now that the PPP has been, there's no longer any funds available. They are negotiating for more stimulus for small businesses. And we want to do something because I have 49 tenants. 37 of them are small businesses. And yet I called every one of them in the last 2 days. No one has gotten a PPP check or an approval. So we're trying to get the world to help us support this challenge of doing the sign, posting it, and challenging 10 of your friends to do it. So I know you guys have done it, but maybe the audience that is not my audience that is listening today, please do the sign and post it and challenge 10 of your friends. So that's my last rant. Anything remaining that you'd like to say to everybody?
No, other than, stay safe, really follow these rules that they're giving us. I know it's hard. And yes, if you are able and you are out in the street, support small businesses because we are open and a lot of people think that we're not. We are open. Most small businesses, again, we have to follow the rules. Pick up, have like a flyaway or something. Pick up and delivery only, stay the 6 feet away, follow all the rules. But please, I know I have this one friend who she takes pictures every small business that she goes throughout the day. If it's breakfast and she goes to Vicky, she'll take a picture. If it's lunch and she goes to Mayor's Cafe, she takes a picture. So I love that she's doing that because she knows how important it is, not for us as business owners, but for the community. Right. Because I am one of those mom and pop lovers. And I love my mom and pop restaurants. And the best pizza is mom and pop. So
right, for sure.
So you gotta love on everyone. And don't forget that we're here and we're here for you because we want you to have us in your home. So
we want the small businesses in our community to stay in our community. So the last thing, so I want to thank you so much for taking your time on a Saturday morning and being so giving of your information. And I just want to tell everyone that's watching at noon, we did have someone that was supposed to come on 11:15, but they're sick. So they called me this morning and said, we're sick. We were not going to be able to be available. So hopefully they'll get better soon. But at noon, we have batch cookies coming on. So, so join us back on Instagram Live at noon, and you will have the similar interview with my new friend at Batch Cookies. So thank you, Suhail. Have a great Saturday. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.